Hello, brother Nashi. How are you, my brother? Please post this one as anonymous. I am a man and I run a microfinance business. And running this business, I just did not start where I am right now. I started really small. I do have offices in Johannesburg as well as Pretoria, and I stay in a gated community. And my life, it seems as if it is going according to plan. When my neighbors see luxury cars parked outside of my house, they just think that this one is a foreigner with money. Back home, people, they think that I am a hero because I came to South Africa. Do you know that I came to South Africa when I did not even have a birth certificate? To some of us that are from Zim, South Africa was like a hero for us because when I was still back home, I did not even have any opportunity that I could get. My parents, they both passed away in an accident. I can say that witchcraft, maybe it follows our family because my father, he was a mechanic for this other big bus company. He then bought a vehicle when I was only 2 years old. When my father bought his car, this was his first car, he then went to visit his relative. We do come from Mashingo. When he visited his relatives, when he was driving back, he then had a terrible accident. And growing up, I was told that my father, he had fought with one of his uncles. No one knew what they were fighting about, but they had an argument, and then he had an accident. And this uncle of ours, everyone suspected that our uncle, he was a ritualist because he was also a sangoma, and people suspected that maybe he was the one that had something to do with the way that my father passed away. My father and my mother, they had bought a house in Harare. And when they passed away, like the culture that used to be there in our Shona tradition, when your relative has passed away, then the brothers, they come and they take everything. They took everything, my father's clothes, some of the things that he used as a mechanic, and the house, they sold it, and they did not even leave anything for us. I was then taken by my grandmother, who was staying in the villages. She was the one who gave birth to my father. As for my other siblings, they were taken by my mother's relatives. I stayed with my grandmother. When my grandmother was alive, I can say that life was okay, but from my father's inheritance, I never got anything. The only thing that I got was a jacket. That was all that I got from the inheritance. All the wealth that my father and my mother had worked for, it was taken by my father's relatives. So after my grandmother had passed away, there was no one who wanted to stay with me. They would only act as if they loved me when it was during the season to start plowing the fields, as well when it was time to harvest. That was the time when they would take me so that they can stay with me, and they would use me as if I was their worker. They would use me, not giving me any single cent. Life was very difficult. The unfortunate thing that had happened when my mother passed away, I did not have a birth certificate. So there was no one who even bothered to go and apply for the birth certificate. The birth record, it was lost because when people were taking the things that belonged to my parents, there was no one who even cared about the documents. So I grew up without a birth certificate. I went to school, but there is a level where you can't continue going to school because they will need your birth certificate. So I dropped out of school when I was only in grade 6. In grade 6, even though I was still very young, but brother, I will do some work that even adults could not even do. I would be sent into the mountains to look for firewood. They would send me to the fields to plow the fields even when it will be raining. These were my blood relatives that used to do these things to me. The day when I ran away from my uncle's house. This was when it was raining, and I returned back from herding the cattle, and I had lost some of the livestock because it was raining and there was a storm that was coming as well. I quickly returned back home, and when I arrived, they asked me if I had brought all the cows back home, and I said that there was only two that were missing. They told me that I was not going to eat, and when I had left the house, I had not eaten anything. So I used to eat only wild fruits during the day. So I was too hungry. I then got out thinking that I would be able to find the cows as quickly as possible. But then it started raining so hard. By 8 p.m., I was still in the mountains looking for the two cows that were missing. I saw a ghost on that day. That is what made me to run away. I saw a man that was hidden in the bushes. This man, he was wearing a white garment, and he then exploded and he flew into the sky like a firecracker, and then he exploded again in the sky. And I knew that this was a ghost that I had seen. So I ran back home. When I was running back home, I even hurt myself. I knew that if I returned back home without the two cows, they were going to beat me like the way that they used to beat me at all the times. So I then went and I slept at my friend's place, who told me that he also wanted to run away and he wanted us to run away together. And we came to Harare. When we came to Harare, Brother Nashim, we started staying as street kids. We were just staying in the streets and we were just surviving. And I grew up without a birth certificate, without any ID. And then I came to South Africa and I was able to get a job because of the money that I got. When I returned back home, those uncles of mine, the same ones that used to hate me when I was young, when they heard that he is now in South Africa, they started looking for me. And because I wanted to reconnect with my relatives, I said, whatever that they did to me when I was young, it is okay. It does not matter. So I started speaking with my relatives again, and my uncles, now that I had money, they were now fighting to be the ones that will take me to the Home Affairs so that I can be able to get a birth certificate. So for that, I am really grateful. Now it brings me back to the story that has made me to come to your channel. The money that I eventually made in South Africa is not clean money. I went to a traditional healer back home in Zim and I signed a contract with the devil. Brother Nashim, there are a lot of people that feel jealous, saying that this guy, he has made it in life. When I came to South Africa, like I told you, I was a nobody. I started staying in Musina. Since I did not have proper documents, I was living in Musina, close to the border, whenever the farms will get raided, because the place where we were working, it was a tomato farm, and it was very hard. The money that we were getting paid, it was just little, so that you can survive. We would hide in the bushes or go and hide underneath the water in the river until the police would have passed. So after I had raised enough money, that was when I moved into Thoyandou, where I started staying. I then started dating a Venda woman who then fell pregnant. Like it was an unplanned pregnancy because she was someone else's wife. They were married. And when she was pregnant, I started to have a lot of good luck. Good luck just came out of nowhere. This woman, her mother, she was running a machonisa business. That is where I learned this business. I then started to take the money that I was making. By then, I was now working in Louis Richard. I would take that money and give it to my mother-in-law, and she will give to people that came to her house to borrow for money. So I started making a lot of money. And then we registered a company, me and my wife, and this company that we registered, it was in her name. By then, when we were making money, I met a man that was from DRC, whom I told that me and my wife, we had a company. He then told me that since I was not on the documents of the company, this did not mean that it was my company. It belonged to the woman who was now my baby mama, since we did not have any legal document that proved that both of us, we were married. He was the one who encouraged me to get married to this woman. I spoke with him and she said it is fine. She then dumped a husband. They had been fighting already for a long time before I had even came into the picture. I can say that maybe I was the last nail in the coffin. In her mind, she already wanted to move on, just that she had not yet found someone who was serious in life. So me and him, we sat down and then we agreed that we were supposed to get married legally. We did so. That is how I ended up having a permanent resident. We did this so that I can be on the documents of the company. Life was okay. I can say that our company, it was not like a very big company. We just had a small office where we were doing cash loans, payday loans, those type of loans. But if we had stayed in Venda, maybe I was not going to be a ritualist like I am right now. My wife then started encouraging me that she wanted us to move from Venda because she had dreams of making this company to go very big. She said the only place that we can go to, let's go to my cousins. They are staying in Joburg. That is how we ended up moving to Joburg. When we came here, we were doing the legit business in the CBD, doing our cash payday loans. Then at the same time, we were also doing a machonisa business. This we were doing in the location. We got so much money, brother, and we started another construction business back in Venda. And as time went on, we then got a subcontract where they were building RDPs. That was where we made a lot of money. And as we were making money, brother, you know, as your business is growing, you keep on wanting to go big. So I overstretched myself against the wishes of my wife, because in the background, I was cheating on my wife, something that she did not know. There was this Zulu woman who used to work for me, and we started sleeping with each other. She then fell pregnant, even though I had told her to make sure that she will never fall pregnant. And she told me that she had a family plan and she was not going to fall pregnant. She told me that she was pregnant. And by then, when I took her by force to a private doctor, it was already too late. They told me that the pregnancy had far developed. It was going to be risky even for the mother. And she also said that she did not want to have that baby removed because she knew, deep down, she knew that this was her only access so that she can be able to continue getting money from me. I was angered by that, and me and her, we fought. And I told her to stop coming to work, but I did not stop giving her the girlfriend allowance. So this meant that I had a girlfriend, I had a secret. And once you start having girlfriends, the money will never be enough. My wife, she knew each and every single cent that was coming in and that was going out. So the way that I used to get money, I will pretend as if I'm going to get the car fixed, then I will withdraw money. This was the money that I was giving to my girlfriend as the girlfriend allowance. But it happened that since she was no longer working, I was unable to give her enough money for the rentals because she said, I can't stay in the location while least you and your wife, you are staying in the gated community. I also want to stay in the same gated community. You know, women, they sometimes make it hard for you. Instead of working with you, they just want to cause confusion in your life. So, brother, this woman, she said that she wanted to stay in a townhouse. I ended up putting her in a gated community. Me and my wife, we started to have arguments because she was asking me, where was the money going to? Why was it that I was always withdrawing money from the business? So the business, it started failing slowly. As someone that had been running this business for a long time, I knew that if I continued taking money from the business without any other backup, we were going to struggle in life. That was when I returned back home. When I returned back home, I went to a traditional healer. First of all, I wanted my wife to understand that there was a new woman that I was going to be bringing in the house, and I just wanted her to love this young wife of mine. And in order for a polygamy to work, I had heard other men that said you have to go to a traditional healer who is supposed to make your wife to understand that there is a new woman that is going to be coming into the picture. So I did so, and I went to the traditional healer with the intentions of just making my woman to understand. When I was at the traditional healer, the other business that I wanted to handle was that I wanted my business to start making profit again, and my construction company for it to be able to get some tenders. And that traditional healer, he then said that he was going to give me a sandawana, and I was given a sandawana as well as some dry leaves that I was supposed to bath when I would have returned back to South Africa. So I did so, and me and my wife, we continued with our business, and I was able to purchase more cars. I even bought a car for my baby mama. And when our son was born, we celebrated. By then, my wife, she already knew that this was what was going on. She said, okay, it's fine. She was hurt a little bit that this woman that I eventually brought into the picture, she was someone that used to work with us. She asked me how long the relationship had been going, and then I lied to her and I said it just happened after I had fired him. She was hurt, but because of the muti, she quickly accepted the fact that I now had a second wife. So these two wives of mine that I have, the first one, she is my legal wife. Then the second one, I just went to her relatives and I paid the lobola, but on paper, like, we do not have anything because it is not allowed as a foreigner to get legally married to two South Africans. So she understood, women, when there is money, they will end up understanding any situation, even though she was fighting, saying that I want you to go with me to Home Affairs so that you can tell them that you are married to me. And I told her the consequences of doing such a thing. So, Brother Nashi, this is the situation. When I got married to my second wife, I did not even had any idea that one day in 2026, I would be sitting here contemplating and thinking about the ways that I am going to sacrifice him. The first sacrifice, it happened after our businesses started booming, because I started a company for my second wife. It is a cleaning service company that also get small tenders so that she can be busy. Women, they are supposed to be busy at all the time so that they don't think about cheating on you. So I said, I'm going to start a business for you so that you do not fight with my eldest wife. And if you have money, if you are independent, and if my first wife has money and is independent, you're not going to fight over anything. So this is what I did. My first wife, she still runs the microfinance business. I do the construction, and then the other one is doing the cleaning services company. So after I had started a company for him, one of my uncle fell sick and died, and he came to me. I saw him in broad daylight when I was pulling out of the driveway. I suddenly saw him. He was sitting right next to me, but he had this cotton things that he had in his nostrils, and it showed to me that this was the spirit of my uncle. He asked me why I had not came to his funeral, because he was buried when I was not there. I just heard a voice that said to me, you're not supposed to go to your uncle's funeral. And I did not go, because this voice was so loud and clear, and it said you're not going to go there. So I did not even go to the funeral because I did not know what was going to happen. I started crying whilst I was in the driveway. My wife, my eldest wife, she came to me and she asked me what was wrong. And then I said that I was having a terrible headache. And she was like, since when an adult starts to cry because they have a headache? And I was afraid to tell her the truth. So, Brother Nashi, because of this, I then returned back to Zim, and I spoke with the traditional healer who strengthened me. This traditional healer, he told me that I had done a mistake by sacrificing my uncle, in which my uncle just died, and I did not even know that my topology was the one that had killed him. And I said, what am I supposed to do in this situation? Then the traditional healer told me that I was supposed to sacrifice my wife. So right now, I am supposed to sacrifice my youngest wife. She is the one that was chosen. But the problem is that my wife, before I had gotten married to her, she was someone that was like a slay queen. She used to drink. Like now, she still drinks, but she only drinks at home. But back in those days, she used to go to clubs, and she was a slay queen. I loved her because she was wild. She was a woman like who belonged to the streets, and every man has a desire to have a woman that belongs to the streets. But even though she is wild and rude, but she is submissive to you. So I just had that desire. My vendor wife, she was that kind of a wife that was always kneeling down in front of you, always respecting you, even in the bedroom. She will not do extra things that will make her look like a prostitute. So I just wanted a woman that was wild, even in the bedroom, even the way that she was like, and I chose my second wife. But all of a sudden, when she had a baby, she started praying, and she started praying all the time, such that it even started getting boring. She became the boring wife after I had married her. So to this very day, she is someone that is still very prayerful, but I am unable to sacrifice her because of the way that she prays at all the times. And these topologies of mine, when they come back to me, they say that your second wife, she puts too much salt in the food. And this means that when a woman is said to put too much salt in the food, a topology will be saying that she prays too much and we can't eat her food. Now I am caught in a dilemma. When I did these rituals, I said that I do not want to sacrifice my first wife. I never thought much about my second wife. All that I cared about was the woman that I was legally married to. And I said that I do not want to sacrifice her no matter what will happen to me. So here I am. I am supposed to sacrifice my second wife, and she is too prayerful, and I have been given a deadline. If I am unable to make her to stop praying, I will be on the street running mad. I do not have any peace because of the things that are happening in my life. I can't even enjoy my two beautiful women. I can't enjoy life even when I am driving. When I look at people that are broke, some of them that beg by the robots, I feel as if we could only exchange. They give me their life and I give them my life. I give them the cars, even for a day, so that I can be at peace. This is my confession. Brother Nashi, when you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with our brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.